everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel CSE Insights by Simran Anand. This is me Simran Anand and it's been quite a long time since I have posted a video on my YouTube channel. I hope you all are doing well and you might be waiting for videos on my channel, right? So today I'm back with a video which is on a very intriguing topic, and the topic is also crucial for you in the context of deep learning and machine learning models. I hope you like the topic and would find it insightful as well. So before I begin, the topic which I'm going to delve deeper into is going to be about evaluating image generation models, right? So let me set the context for you. So what are the image generation models you might have come across already? All right. So what is image generation model? Those are special type of deep learning computer vision models which are generating images. So how are they generating images and all? You might have come across GANs, right? Generative adversarial neural networks, diffusion models, and so on. So the main purpose of such image generation models is to generate synthetically new images which are very similar to the real images. The ideal goal should be that you're going to generate images. The model is going to generate images which is similar in terms of the feature distribution to the original image. Now coming to the point that how are you going to evaluate such image generation models, right? Because in GAN also we have two components, the generator and the discriminator, and the roles of that, right? To just give you a brief summary, the generator component of the GAN is the one which is generating the new images, right? By adding random noise to the input image in the latent space, and it's going to generate new images. Whereas the discriminator component of the GAN is the one which is used for evaluation purpose. It's basically helping your GAN model to generate better images by evaluating how similar, or is basically trying to, the generator is always in a role to fool the discriminator, and the discriminator and the generator are against each other. All right, so the discriminator has to evaluate the image which is generated by the generator and not get fooled. All right, because of course the real image and the generated image are not same. So the discriminator's role is to differentiate between the generated image which is synthetically generated by the generator component and the real image. So such image generation models, like say diffusion models and GANs, they need some reliable evaluation metric to evaluate the quality, say even the diversity, the faithfulness of the image generation, right? So today in this video of mine, I have covered firstly what all are the available evaluation metrics already, the existing ones, and which one, what is the pros and cons of each of them, which evaluation metric you can use for evaluating your deep learning image generation models for your projects, and why, right? So I hope I have given this in introduction, I have set this context to the video, and I hope that everyone is now interested in delving into the topic. So now coming to how do we evaluate image generation models. So this video is going to cover as I've told you, the various image generation metrics. So as I told you, GAN, which is generative adversarial network or a diffusion model, what are we going to generate is the fake images, because the generated images are fake. They are not the real images. It's the discriminator which is trying to differentiate or identify that the generated images are fake, and just basically going to maximize the difference between the generated and the real image. But the goal of a good GAN model should always be that the difference or the difference between or the dissimilarity between the generated image and the real image should always be less, because we are trying to generate realistic images which are similarly looking like the real images but are not actually real images. So for evaluating the quality of the generated images, what all metrics can you think of, right? You might think, like when we talk about in terms of deep learning or machine learning models, how do you evaluate deep learning and machine learning models? You evaluate them using metrics like, say for classification, using metrics like accuracy, precision, recall, F1 score, and so on. For regression, using metrics like mean absolute error, mean squared error, root mean squared error, and so on. So there are different evaluation metrics for different use cases for different ML algorithms. So what about for image generation models? And when I talk about image generation models, there's also a category of models which have come and they have gained momentum also, which is called as text to image generation model. I hope you have heard of that. Clip model is one such model, right? So when you talk the diffusion, the models, like talk in terms of stable diffusion, the stable diffusion model. And then if you want a model to evaluate or to find the similarity between the text and the image pairs, then you use the clip model. So these all models have gained a lot of prominence in the recently. So how do you evaluate such models is the main idea here. So when I talk in terms of machine learning, deep learning, you all might already be aware of evaluation metrics which are existing. But then what about for image generation models, and in terms of what do we evaluate a generated image? So I would say the properties for evaluating the generated image would be computing first the similarity between the real and the generated image, right? So that's what I was explaining in the very first part of my video, where I was talking in terms of GAN model, which is actually generating there are two image sets, right? Two image distributions. One, the real image distribution, and the other, the generated image distribution. The generated image distribution is the fake one, which is generated by your GAN model, the network. So we need some metric which is accurately computing or calculating the similarity between the real and the generated image distributions. Now, this, when I say calculating similarity between real and generated, what does it mean actually? Similarity is in what? There is always, in metrics, there is distance metric. Right? When you evaluate the distance between two image distributions, that is what is called as the similarity. We'll come into the more evaluation interesting part also. That's all about what is computing similarity, how similar the real image set is to the generated image distribution. Now coming to the next point, which is measuring the generated image's quality, which is nothing but fidelity. So fidelity, when I say image quality, it's synonymous to fidelity. So basically you have to also ensure that the generated images are of high quality. They should be very qualitative firstly. They should also be diverse. The generated images by your model should have inherent diversity in them. So what do you exactly mean by quality, diversity, and which evaluation metric is actually evaluating these metrics? Evaluating these properties of the generated images. So now I've already mentioned in this, we'll get into FID, IS, and CMMD metrics. So these three metrics are the most prominent metrics, out of which I would also delve into their features of each of them, why one of them is better than the other, outperforms the other, and what are the drawbacks, the pros and cons of them. Alright, so I would say CMMD is something to be emphasized, because when I recently came across this metric, and I found it really very intriguing to know that how it is overcoming the shortcomings which are faced when you are using metrics like FID and IS. Let's get into what is FID first, right? So FID is nothing but freshlet inception distance. It's a short form for freshlet inception distance. What is it exactly? These all are metrics only. And what is the role of these three metrics which I have enlisted? The role of them is to compute the similarity between the real and the generated image distribution. So how are you evaluating, how are you computing the similarity between them? You're computing similarity between the feature distributions of these two image sets. So what are feature distributions? You can do pixel distribution also. You might think, right? When I ask you compare two images, how are you comparing two images? You might compare them on a pixel level, or you might compare them on a feature level. So I would say pixel level, that is comparing each and every pixel, because the image is thousands of pixels, right? Thousands and thousands of pixels. If you're comparing each and every pixel, the distance between each and every pixel of the generated image and the real image, it's not a reliable metric. It is also it's computationally intensive as well, and it is not a reliable metric. But to have a more stable metric of evaluation, then go for feature level computation. The distributions of the feature distributions of the two images are to be compared. So that is feature level instead of the pixel level. Now compared to FID, right? What is exactly FID? So I have this formula, I have just put it in the slide, but I would explain you firstly as to why FID is used and what is the purpose, what is FID firstly. So it is freshlet inception distance, which estimates the distance, as it's already said, inception distance in it, right? So as you can see, it is the distance metric. Any similarity between the two image distributions, any two probability distributions you have, how do you calculate similarity? You calculate similarity by computing the distance metric. So this is the distance metric only. So I would say that if you have a high, more distance between two image sets, it means more the dissimilarity. So I would always say ki if more, two image sets are highly dissimilar, they are very apart from each other, there is a lot of distance, so FID is more. So when FID is more, the similarity between what is generated and what is real image is less. So I would say having a low FID is better. How do you evaluate your model is performing well or your model has generated qualitative results? Okay, so quality is again I would say another term, but I would come back to that quality and the diversity part. But how, the similarity part right now, let's focus on that. So when you say FID score is less, the model's performance is better. So always aim to have a less FID. Also, it's not just FID, but also the CMMD, which I'll be talking about. These scores should always be less. Okay, so when you have these distance metrics as less values, the better your model's performance. Now coming back to this, it is, as it says, inception distance, freshly inception distance. What is inception? If you have heard of the model, there is different types of deep learning architectures, right? So we have different architectures like ResNet, GoogleNet, AlexNet, LayNet, right, and InceptionNet. So Inception V3 is a type of deep learning model. So this FID estimates the distance between a distribution of Inception V3 features. So Inception V3 is just a model. It's a neural network. Okay, Inception V3 architecture. So we are going to find the distance between the distribution of Inception V3 features of real images and those of images generated by the algorithm. That distance is going to be computed by FID. Now you might think, what if we change Inception V3 to some other model, right? We can do that as well. And then let's see if that is giving us better results or not. So Inception V3, it is basically used to check similarity between real images and generated images by a model. So I've already explained, lower the FID, better the model performance. This is the mathematical formula of FID. So when I say FID, it's basically this formula where you have P and Q as the two multivariate normal distributions. Now why am I using this multivariate normal distributions for P and Q? Why is that assumption that P and Q should be multivariate and normal? I hope you all are aware of different statistical distributions, right? That you have normal distribution and some distributions which are not normal. So why is it an assumption that the distribution between, when you're calculating FID, right? Why is it that P and Q, which are the two image sets, they image distributions. P and Q are two image distributions, but they are multivariate normal distributions. Why is that feature assumption here? We'll get into, and that is one of the drawbacks also of FID, okay? Because it only works on multivariate normal distributions. So this is the formula of it. Let me come back. Okay, let me go to the next slide, which is the inception score. So this is one of the metric FID. We'll do a comparative review of all the inception score, FID and CMMD, and come to a conclusion that which metric performs the best, which metric is the best and the most reliable metric for you, which you can use for evaluating the performance of your image generation models like GANs, diffusion models, and so on. Now coming to inception score, which is our second metric here. So IS or inception score is calculated using again the Inception V3 model, both FID and IS. But what is the difference now? FID is going to be the distance between the two image distributions, which is basically going to give us the similarity score, right? But inception score is going to evaluate the diversity as well. It's not just the quality which is getting evaluated. In the above, which is FID, it is just the quality which we come to know of the generated images, how qualitative they are they of high quality or not? Whereas, and also if the images are highly distorted. When I say distorted, they are having a lot of noise in them. They are having a lot of high distortions, as in they are not at all qualitative. So that is how you add noise to it. So when you are noising the images, right, image distributions, then we see that FID is it able to identify or not. So experimentally, when the researchers have performed, right, the technique of noising and then checking using FID that whether it was able to capture and identify the distortions in the image set, it was unfortunately not able to. So FID was not able to identify the distortions of image distributions which were there in the image sets. The reason being is that sadly FID requires high sample size. FID is a very prominent one, a very prominent technique, and in fact I would say for most of the image generation models it works well. But then there are some cases that it does not work well, because the reason is that it requires high sample size. Sample is, a lot of images are needed for this evaluation metric to perform well. Okay, now coming to this inception score part. So as I've told you, two properties of image generation are going to be evaluated here, which is diversity and quality. Now what exactly and how exactly is this inception score working? So Inception V3 model is a special type of deep learning model which is trained on ImageNet dataset. So ImageNet is a dataset, okay, and this model is trained on ImageNet dataset. But I would say that, you know, if the ImageNet dataset has less images, you know, this model is trained on less number of images, the base model, then of course it would require more sample size as its purpose for evaluation, right? So I would say that instead of using some model which is trained on less number of images, go for a model which is already trained on higher number of images. That is why I was talking about CMMD, which is clip. The inside, you know, the hidden part over there is clip embed, you know, clip embeddings over there are used. So clip model, as you know, is trained on large number of images rather than just 1,000. It's trained on large number of images, image text pairs. That's what is clip. Okay, so we'll come to that part, not a worry, but I hope you are able to, you know, get the crux over here that ImageNet is going to be, you know, this ImageNet model is what is leveraged. So it is going to be used to measure diversity and quality of generated images by leveraging 1,000 class probabilities of the generated images. Okay, so there is another metric, by the way, called as kernel inception distance, which is KID. Like FID, fetch-led inception distance, we have kernel inception distance is a separate metric, which is I'm not going to cover in this video right now. But both of them, like FID and KID, when you're using them, they require original real images, because they both are going to calculate the similarity, right? And for calculating the similarity, it's always the two image distributions. We want the real image distribution and the generated image distribution. So we require real images as well. But inception score, on the other hand, does not require you to have real images with you when you are using it for evaluating your model. I hope I have made that point clear. Now, inception score, it estimates quality as well as diversity of the images, image sets. Collection of synthetic images. Synthetic are generated images. Okay, synthetic images are the ones which are generated by the model, the fake images. Based on how well the top performing image classification model, Inception V3 is an image classification model. Okay, so it is how well the Inception V3 model is able to classify these images as one of the 1,000 known objects. Why 1,000 known objects is because the ImageNet is leveraging 1,000 class probabilities. Okay, so ImageNet is trained on 1,000 images, so it's a 1,000 class probabilities of generated images. Scores combine both the confidence of the conditional class predictions for each synthetic image, which is quality, and what is diversity, the integral of the marginal probability of the images. I hope now it is clear that what is the difference between inception score and FID. Coming to the point now, what is the drawbacks and why am I emphasizing on CMMD in this video? And I have kept it at the last because you will be able to understand that what are the drawbacks of the other metrics that this model is able to overcome. So FID being the most prominent, let's first discuss the drawbacks of FID as an evaluation metric. Firstly, I was also saying that when you see the formula of FID also, we had two P and, you know, two distributions P and Q, but I had said that P and Q were multivariate normal distributions. So that assumption of multivariate normal distribution was there. But what if in reality the P and Q are not normal distributions, right? We cannot make a you know, biased or a very incorrect assumption as such. It will affect the results on the, you know, the quality of evaluation. So I would say that is one drawback of such metric. And also in this formula, if you see this formula on my screen has statistics. So FID is computing the distance, FID using statistics like mean and covariance. So means is this mu P and mu Q, what you see on my screen, and this sigma P and sigma Q are the covariances of P and Q sets, image sets. Okay. Now, so it assumes multivariate normality assumption, which is a drawback. Next, it incorrectly models Inception V3 embeddings, which is you know, something to be considered, because we cannot, we ultimately want correct modeling. So if over here it says that it incorrectly models Inception V3 embeddings, what does it mean? Firstly, Inception V3 embeddings are of high dimension. That's again a problem, because we need to first change these embeddings. The more, the model which we have right now is Inception v3 model, which is trained on ImageNet dataset. But what if we change that model itself? What if we use some other model which is probably trained on a larger image set and the dimensionality is also less? That is a plus, right? So that's why I would say that Inception v3 embeddings firstly are of high dimension, which is a problem. So it requires high covariance matrix. It also increases the dimensionality of the covariance matrix for FID, which is computationally expensive. That is why we will see that FID is taking a lot of training time. It takes a lot of time as well. Time complexity is higher. Now next, it is sample inefficient. What does this sample inefficient mean exactly? Now sample inefficient means it strongly depends on the sample size. So when I say sample size, it's the number of images we used. So FID, it highly depends on sample size. If you're changing the sample size, it's very variant to the sample size firstly, and produces inconsistent results upon varying sample size. So a small fluctuation, a small change in the sample size will drastically impact the FID performance. That is the reason it is sample inefficient. We want some metric which is sample efficient, which is irrespective of changing the sample size. It should not be highly dependent on the sample size. That is, even if I change the sample size, I decrease or increase the number of images, it should not affect the metric. FID is a biased estimator where the bias depends on the model being evaluated. That's again a drawback, because we want we do not want the bias to depend on the model. It should be agnostic to the model, right? It should not be impacted by what model you're using. But then over here, it's a bias estimator where bias is depending on the sample size. That's why it's sample efficient, and it is also depending on the model being evaluated. FID does not accurately reflect image quality under complex image distortion. So that was exactly what I was saying. When you are having a distorted image, that is, you have added a lot of noise into your image. How do you think the FID is going to perform in such cases, right? So the FID over there is not going to give you accurate results, as in it is not, even if there is distortion, FID will not go up, because if there is distortion, there is more noise, the quality of the image is decreasing. So when I say the quality of the image is decreasing, the model's performance is decreasing, and if the model performance is decreasing, FID should be higher, because higher the FID, less the model quality and less the model performance. So when you are adding more distortions, right, ideally FID should go up in the graph. The FID value should be higher, but FID is not increasing. In most of the cases, FID does not accurately reflect. So even if you are noising the model, you are adding a lot of noise, distortions into your image data, FID is not increasing as such. It's not able to capture the noise, or not able to identify that there is distortion in the image at all. Right? So we need a reliable metric to actually even be able to identify that there is a distortion in the image. Or on the other hand, if you don't have distortion, there is gradual improvement in the quality of the image after iterations of image synthesis. The metric should be able to even identify the improvements. But FID unfortunately is not even able to identify the improvements as such in the experiment phase. So since reliable estimation of FID requires generating a large number of images, as I've told you, sample size should be large. The large number of images are required for FID to function. FID evaluation is costly, so it's very time consuming firstly, and it's also costly. Now, what do you think can be a better metric which can help us to achieve whatever FID is not able to achieve, right? So that this metric called as CMMD is such metric, I would say. So I would just quickly skim and explain you through this the differences between the inception embeddings and the clip embeddings firstly. So as I told you, FID uses inception. It leverages inception embeddings because it is it's based on the Inception v3 network, and that is trained on ImageNet. So it uses inception embeddings, which we know that the model is not performing well on, because they have high dimension and they are weak image embeddings. We want strong and rich image embeddings. So clip embeddings is something which you can use. That's what you could change the model itself. You can change the model which is used for the evaluation metric, and then you can see. So if you say Frechley, if you remove the C part and the F part, you're left with inception and you're left with the clip embeddings. So the embeddings used for FID is inception embeddings, and the embeddings for CMMD is clip embeddings. CMMD is nothing but clip embeddings for MMD. We will come to what is MMD. MMD is maximum mean discrepancy. Okay, so that is MMD metric. So coming to this part now, MMD distance and Frechlet distance. These are different distance metrics firstly, because how do you compare two images? You compare two images by calculating the dissimilarity or calculating the distance between the two image distributions, right? Or two probability distributions also. So when you're talking in terms of inception and you're comparing this, so I made this kind of a matrix where Frechlet distance and inception distance combination, inception embeddings combination is giving you the poorest results. Whereas Frechlet distance and clip embeddings is giving you, okay, it's giving you rich embeddings because of clip embeddings, but because you're using Frechlet distance over MMD distance, it's not able to, solve these issues. Whereas MMD distance and inception distance is also giving you quite, it's not that great, but then yes, most of the drawbacks are overcome because of MMD distance, and MMD and clip combination is giving you the best results. So you see the tick marks over here. It means that all the drawbacks have overcome and it's giving you some pros. These are nothing but the pros and cons over here, which I've enlisted. So coming to this, what are the pros and cons, and based on what are we saying that one metric is better than the other metric, right? So Frechlet distance, which is, it has this two combinations giving you weak image embeddings, right? The next is normality assumption. So I've already covered the disadvantages of FID. Over there I have explained you that weak image embeddings are for inception embeddings firstly, and normality assumption, that is the P and Q you have, the two image sets distributions you have, those are belonging to multivariate normal. They are multivariate normal distributions, which is not practically possible, right? What if they are not normal distributions? So that is an assumption which is made here. Then it's sample inefficient. This Frechlet distance is sample inefficient, which is FID. Frechlet distance and inception embeddings together make FID. That is sample inefficient, and it's a biased estimator. What does biased estimator mean? Biased estimator means the bias is highly depending on the sample size and the model it's used. So it should be firstly not depending on the model, it should be model agnostic. But since it is a biased estimator, it's depending on the model being used, and also depending on the sample size, the changes and the variations made to the sample size as well, which are going to drastically impact the performance. That's why it's a biased estimator. Coming to MMD distance and inception embeddings, weak image embeddings firstly because of the inception embeddings, and MMD distance is making it is distribution free. So it's a plus point, right? Because MMD distance is distribution free. It is not assuming anything as such that you need to have normal multivariate distribution. You can have image sets, image distributions of any distribution. It's distribution free. It need not be normal image distribution. Next, it is sample efficient. That is, you need not firstly use those many number of images that are required for FID to work, but MMD, it is sample efficient. It can work on even small samples. Small samples as in small image sets also. It does not require large number of images to operate. Next, it's an unbiased estimator. Now coming to the next point, Frechlet distance and clip embeddings. Because of clip, it is rich embeddings, and remaining all are still there. Because of the Frechlet distance, you're still having these drawbacks. Whereas MMD distance and clip embeddings, what is the plus point? The plus over here is rich embeddings are there generated because of the clip embeddings. So CMMD is using rich qualitative embeddings of clip model. It is distribution free. CMMD is a distribution free metric because of the MMD distance over here used. Then it's sample efficient and unbiased estimator. It's an unbiased estimator. We do not have anything like it's depending on the sample size. Even if you make changes to the sample size, it is model agnostic. It does not depend on the model being used. That's what was a very major drawback of the previous FID, where we have seen that it's a bias estimate where bias is depending on the model being evaluated. We don't want the bias to depend on the model, right? And it should also be regardless of the sample size, it should give us proper results, but that is not happening in FID. Hence, CMMD is something which can be used, which can be leveraged for evaluating the image generation models in a better way. So I hope this evaluation metric is something insightful, something new also, because FID is pretty common, right? It's something which we also usually resort to for evaluating the generated images of the models. But you can rather go with such rich metrics like CMMD, which will overcome the drawbacks, and they are also computationally less expensive than FID and also less time consuming. Coming next to CMMD in depth. Now CMMD stands for clip MMD, which is, what is MMD? Maximum mean discrepancy. And now if you're wondering what is clip, by the way, clip is a model Okay, like I was saying, Inception v3 is a model, right? That's why embeddings are generated from that model. Clip embedding, clip stands for contrastive language to image pre-training. So it works on image text pairs. Okay, clip models trained on set of image text pairs. So it's basically used for finding the similarity between, it's basically used for finding and comparing the similarity between the image text pairs, right? So especially for use cases like image captioning, clip is something which you can also use for your projects where you're coming across image captions. You're basically trying to compare, or you're trying to find how the caption is fitting to the image. Say image is being captioned in some, some caption has been assigned to the image. Is that correct or not? To evaluate that as well, clip model can be leveraged. So now clip embedding, so clip is a model. So that is what CMMD is going to use. It is built on top of clip MMD, and then MMD is maximum mean discrepancy metric, which is nothing but the squared MMD, distance between clip embeddings of the reference, real image set and the generated image set. Like I was explaining in the FID case, right? What was FID doing? It was using the Inception v3 embeddings, right? So over there it was the distance. FID was the distance between the Inception v3 embeddings of the real image and the generated image set. But on the other hand, CMMD is the squared MMD, distance between the clip embeddings of the real images and the generated image set. It overcomes the various drawbacks of FID. It leverages clip embeddings, which are rich image embeddings. It is distribution free. These are all the advantages which was already covered, which I've just explained you. It assumes no normality, which is it's a very big I would say a very big pros as compared to what was there in the FID, because it is helping you to eliminate the assumption which you was just making, that is to assume that the distribution should be a normal distribution. So that assumption is eradicated. You don't have such assumption anymore. It is sample efficient, does not depend on the sample size. It is an unbiased estimator. It is model agnostic, does not depend on the model, and bias is not depending on the model. It is thus more reliable, robust and stable metric to evaluate image to text generated feature embeddings. So when I'm saying image to text, right, or when I say text to image, so there are different models as such, as you might be aware. So text to images, you're giving a text prompt and then you're expecting the model to generate an image for you. That process is stable diffusion. You might have come across or heard of stable diffusion, right? So when you're giving a text prompt and you get the image corresponding to the text prompt, that is stable diffusion process, which is text to image. Image to text is where you're say captioning an image. Okay, so an image is there, you're trying to assign caption, text caption to it using clip model, which is contrastive language to image pre-training. That is image to text. So when you are trying to evaluate image to text metric, also that it serves, CMMD serves as a very reliable metric, robust metric for evaluation. In terms of cost as well, computation and time, MMD distance computation operation takes less time than FID. This has also been proven scientifically when empirical experiments were carried out. Also, clip models feature extraction is faster than Inception models feature embeddings extraction. That is again a advantage here, because feature extraction again takes a lot of time. It's again not an easy process, right? And clip models feature extraction is taking less time than the Inception models feature extraction. That is again an advantage here. So that's all about CMD. Why I would say CMD is a better metric. Now, when I'm talking in terms of time, when I'm saying the CMMD is faster, you might be thinking, well, what makes it faster, right? What makes a metric faster? That is something, even if you're coming up with a new metric, how are you comparing the time? What is that you're saying that a metric is becoming faster? So I would say that, because I would say that, CMMD does not require large images. It can even work on small image sets. That's why it's making it faster. Firstly, it requires small number of images to be generated. You don't need huge set of images. You don't need more than 10,000 images. Like FID needs at least 10,000 images to be generated. You don't need that. Even if your image generation model, GAN model, or your diffusion model is giving you, has generated less than 10,000 images, less than any threshold number of images, you can use CMMD. Once the images are generated, the computation of CMMD is faster than FID computation, which has been experimentally also evaluated. and this is what it looks like. So when you see the time, Frechlet distance, MMD distance inception model inference, and clip model inference, the most time is taken by highest, the time is taken by Frechlet distance, which is for FID. Then clip model inference is taking less. So you can simply compare inception and clip. So when you're comparing inception inference and clip inference, I would say clip is better. Right? It's a better metric. It's a better clip is a better model than inception model for such evaluation purposes. And when you compare the distance metrics now, Frechlet distance and MMD, that is mean maximum, maximum mean discrepancy distance, then I would say MMD distance is better. It outperforms Frechlet distance metric. Because of the time also. When you see MMD distance is taking just less time, 71.4 to around these milliseconds, whereas on the other hand, Frechlet distance is taking a lot of time. Hence, it makes it computationally expensive. Now, if you see this graph, this is about the distortion purpose I was talking about. So, what is distortion? Distortion is when you're having the quality of the image is degrading. That is, adding noise to the image, and it could be the case like when generation models are keeping on generating the images on each and every iteration. The quality is decreasing. How does the quality of an image decrease? The quality degrades when you're adding noise, adding some random noise to the image. The quality degrades, right? So when we see from low distortion to high distortion, what happens? If the quality of the image is decreasing, we would say that FID should be less. FID should be more, because higher the distance, we would say that less the model performance, right? They are inversely proportional. FID as well as CMMD, these are distance metrics. So they go hand in hand. I would say when CMMD, FID, these are distance metrics, they go up, that is, they are increasing. Then the dissimilarity or the quality of the image is decreasing, right? The quality of the image is decreasing. So when you say the model is not performing well, that is where you have high CMMD and FID. Always the goal over here, when you're building, say you want to build a very high performant image generation model, always aim for a very low CMMD and low FID, because lower the FID and the CMMD, the better your model's performance. Okay, so when you see low distortion to high distortion, basically you're degrading the image quality. The model performance should go down. So FID and CMMD score should increase. Now when you see the graph, CMMD is increasing. That is correct, because you're increasing the low distortion, you're increasing the distortion, you're degrading the image quality. So CMMD value is increasing. That is, the distance between what is generated and what is real is increasing. That is what we want. But whereas FID, which is given in this red color, it is represented in the red color, you see that it is slowly decreasing. But why does it have to decrease and then increase? It has to, continuously, it should be a smooth curve, basically, just like the CMMD, wherein it should not decrease. When you're, increasing the distortion, it means that the FID should increase. The FID score should increase, but FID is not increasing. Rather, it is decreasing over here and then it is increasing. That is the reason it's not a reliable metric when you compare it with CMMD, especially when you're trying to identify distortions in your image data. And that is very, a very evident case also, that, when you're having distortions, even by the human eye, even with the human evaluation don't undermine it. I would say that I would come back to that conclusion part where I would highly emphasize that human evaluation is something best. It's like the golden standard of evaluation. Although there are different evaluation metrics like CMMD, FID, IS, KID, and so on, don't undermine human evaluation, because human evaluation is what you're seeing with the human eye, making the observations. That, if you're seeing that the image quality is decreasing, you will say the model is not performing well, right? So human evaluation is totally just, based on the aesthetics, the aesthetical view of the image, the quality, the faithfulness of the text prompt. Based on such characteristics, you would say the human evaluation is done, right? So I would say human evaluation, that's something the most reliable. But of course, that is not easy. Human evaluation is not easy. It requires resources and it is computationally expensive. That is the reason we are looking for some metrics to automate evaluation, right? So CMMD, when you say, if I'm saying with human evaluation also, that if I'm comparing, trying to identify the distortions in the image, and I'm saying that the image quality is degrading, then I would say that CMMD will go hand in hand with what human evaluation is doing. That the CMMD will also say that the image quality is decreasing. But on the other hand, FID will not be able to capture or identify that in most of the cases. And it depends totally on the sample size also. If you're having less images, then it would not give you accurate, reliable results at all. That is the drawback of FID. So CMMD, as I told you, if the human evaluation is saying something, is trying to identify distortions or trying to identify improvements in the image quality, also CMMD will do the same thing. It's likewise, whereas FID is not going to do that. I hope this is a very interesting, I would say, discussion on CMMD versus FID, I would say, and also not just these two metrics, but then when you compare it to the other evaluation metrics at hand. Now, benefits of CMMD metric. I've already covered the benefits, so this slide is all about that, which is firstly generalization across the data sets. That is something very crucial when you are trying to evaluate models. Robustness to domain shifts. Now, what are domain shifts? Domain shifts, when you've heard of the topic of domain adaptation, basically you're trying to adapt from one domain to the other domain, right? Transfer the features from one to another. That is domain shift. So if there is a lot of domain shift, FID is not a reliable meter there as well. But whereas CMMD, because of the maximum mean discrepancy metric over here in CMMD, we have that MMD, right? Because of that, it is very robust to domain shift also, I would say. Then it is enhanced transfer learning capabilities. It leverages both CLIP's semantic understanding because it uses CLIP embeddings, right? It's working on the CLIP embeddings. That's why it's a semantic understanding, that is text to image pairs, and MMD's distribution alignment, because it's all about maximum mean discrepancy. So what is discrepancy? That's something with the distribution alignment of MMD. CLIP MMD provides principled approach to domain adaptation in computer vision. Especially for domain adaptation and transfer learning projects of yours, you can go with CMMD metrics for evaluation. Now, CLIP MMD enhances CLIP. Well, now it's on top of CLIP, right? You're also combining CLIP with MMD. So how is it, enhancing the advantages of CLIP now? CLIP as well. CLIP is a rich embedding. It's a rich image embedding. But if you're combining it with MMD, it's the metric is getting enhanced. And in what way? It is addressing domain shift. How it is addressing domain shift is because of MMD. MMD is the one which is, the person behind it. Is actually helping you to address domain shift. A common problem in computer vision tasks where models trained on one data set perform poorly on another. So domain is nothing but data set. Over here you can take in that context, where from one data set, and if you're trying to make predictions or trying to get the results on another data set, on another domain, what happens is domain shift is not that easy. But CMMD, in fact, makes it more seamless to do that, right? And due to differences in the data distributions. Incorporating MMD over here, CLIP MMD learns to minimize distributional discrepancy between the data sets, leading to more robust visual representations. That is something I would say very helpful here, right? Isn't it very helpful? Because when we have data sets, we have two different domains, right? So we have two different domains, and then when you're trying to when you're trying to make some evaluation, what is it doing? It's trying to minimize the distributional discrepancy. So the discrepancy or the distance, the difference between the the domain will be lessened. So there would not be information loss also when you're trying to shift from one domain to another. So that's a very good metric. MMD serves as a discrepancy measure that quantifies the difference between the distributions of visual features extracted from different data sets. It is able to quantify the difference. The difference is getting quantified. That is hence it's the discrepancy measure here. In CLIP MMD is used to align this different distributions you have from one domain and another domain. Like say the image which you are the real image is on some data set, one domain, and the one which is generated in another completely different domain. So what MMD is trying to do is it's trying to align the distributions. That is very handy here. Thus ensuring is minimizing the discrepancy, thus ensuring that the learned representations generalize well across diverse data sets. So it's agnostic to data set as well. It was agnostic to model. Now I would say that CMMD is also agnostic to the data set, because irrespective of whatever data set you're trying to generalize, this MMD is able to generalize well across diverse data sets. Okay, and it's also observed that even problems like overfitting is not observed. Now I would say conclusion. Features like source and the target. If you have, see, two image distributions, you always have the source distribution and the target distribution. There are other metrics also. If you have heard of this, just for your information, I would say, like the KL divergence. Don't confuse that with a metric. So that KL divergence is basically trying to, predict. If you've heard of pullback labeler divergence, it's again a metric of evaluation. But what is it doing is, it's firstly asymmetric. And also, when you have two probability distributions, two image distributions or probability distributions, one that is generated by the generator and one which is the real image, which the discriminator is trying to evaluate the difference between them, right? So the how much information is lost or how much information is to be gained in order to do the transformation, right, from the generated image, which is the fake image, to the real image, come back to the reconstructed back to the real image. That difference is what, or the loss is what is calculated by KL divergence. Okay, so that's just for the information purpose. Now, when I say source and target image, you have two images, right? And when you're trying to compute the image distributions, it's always the feature distributions. You're going to extract the features. How are features extracted from the image? Features are extracted using the embeddings, what we were just talking about, right? The inception v3 embeddings of the real image and the features of the generated image. The features are going to be compared. The distance between the features is what is going to be computed. So when you have source features and the target image features, target represent the visual feature. So if you see this one, feature source is source feature target is target feature. The loss which is calculated by clip MMD over here is nothing but the MMD. Okay, the loss calculated by clip MMD is MMD of feature source and feature target. That is what is given by the loss. So MMD is nothing but the distance metric only, nothing but in plain words is calculating the similarity. The dissimilarity, not the similarity, but that is dissimilarity, I would say, because is it distance, right? So distance, more the dissimilarity. So higher CMMD will give you more distance, which means that the generated image is nowhere close to your real image, and your model has to improve the generation quality. The model has to generate better images, which are more realistic looking to your real images. Now, benchmark data sets. Now, it's very important to have after you evaluate also, to evaluate on benchmark, right? Benchmarking is something very critical. So now coming to benchmark, there are some data sets which you can use for evaluation also for benchmarking. Such prominent benchmark data sets which you can look into are Drawbench, Muse and Party-Proms, which help in human evaluation, allow comparison among image generation models. So how do you compare different image generation models, the results of those need some benchmarking, and to compare those and to those data sets which you can use are these benchmark data sets. Now, coming to this point of human evaluation, I would just, it all boils down to human evaluation, because that is what is finally telling you the results, or it is finally able to distinguish the image quality, if the image quality is degrading. How will you be able to identify the image quality, or say that out of the two image sets you have, out of the two image distributions you have, which one is a better image? So evaluating quality and diversity can be done with the human eye also, and that can be done with aesthetics, truthfulness, relevancy and all, different metrics again. So human evaluation is something which we can rely on. We can conclude CMMD, out of all we have discussed, is effectively able to capture and identify the distortions in image quality on iterative text to image synthesis. Iterative is if you're keeping on doing image synthesis by adding noise, and when you see that after adding noise iteratively, the image quality is degrading. That is easily being able to identify by the CMD. CMD is able to easily identify and tell you that the image quality is degrading, as well as identify the improvements as compared to FID that requires larger sample size to do so. So FID also is fine. You can use FID for probably large image sizes, large image samples sets, that is if the sample size is high. If you're having more number of images in your data, you can go with FID. But then I would say reliable technique or the reliable metric of all is CMMD. So CMMD wins the evaluation game right now, right? That's all about this interesting evaluation concept of image generation models. I hope this has proved helpful. And even if you're new to this topic, it has given you some insight as to how to evaluate image generation models, what are image generation models, how to compare them based on what. A lot of mathematics is there behind it, but this has, I hope this has given you a glimpse of all the features of the different evaluation metrics. And to, I would also be posting regularly on my YouTube channel on different domains. So ranging from AI, ML, artificial intelligence, data science, data analytics, and coming to programming side as well, SQL, and basically I'll be touching all the areas of computer science. So this was something out of my curiosity, which I had, like, I really wanted to make a video on this, and this is something pretty new also. And I hope this, you like right now, deep learning practitioners, even machine learning practitioners can make use of such better evaluation metrics for evaluating image generation models and the quality of the images which are generated by the models like GAN. So stay tuned and subscribe to CSE Insights by Simran Anand. Thank you so much. Have a great day.